Now, what is Linux? Linux is an open source operating system. An operating system is basically Windows and Mac, something that lets you access applications on your computer and lets you use your computer a lot more efficiently. Now, why am I switching from Windows? Well, I'm not fully switching from Windows due to compatibility issues, but the main thing is it's something that I really want to experiment with, and so I'm trying it out. And here are my thoughts on Bazzite, a specific Linux distro, and I'll hopefully give you a little bit more insight on whether or not you should switch to Linux or stay on Windows or Mac or whatever. All right, so this is my Windows laptop right here, okay? Well, it used to be Windows, and yeah, it's pretty cheap. I can't even open it with one finger, okay? Windows has sucked butt for me, okay? Okay, I like it. It's got lots of compatibility, but that's the only reason I really like it. I've recently switched to Linux on a couple devices, and it's so much better. This Linux distro is Bazzite. So basically, it's SteamOS, but I'm not quite sure the difference. So this is just more customization, broader hardware support compared to SteamOS, because the SteamOS is basically just made for the Steam Deck. Okay, so basically I can go here, power, and switch to desktop mode like that, and then I can use this like a normal computer. That's another like crazy good bonus. What I can do is it's basically just a portable console at this point. So right now, I can just go over and say, hey, I want to play, I'll play Terraria. Boom. Like, it's just gaming made so much easier, and now that since it's on a laptop that used to be Windows, I'm able to just bring this around anywhere I go and just game like this. I mean, sure, you can do that with a Windows laptop. This is so much easier to set up, and I can just use the controller instead of like using the trackpad, which I don't really like the trackpads. I don't know. Mouses are just way better in my opinion. And now I can just easily play whatever I want. So this is just one Linux distro. It's crazy the amount of things that you can actually do any of these things. This is not just me glazing Linux, because Linux does have its limitations. First of all, it doesn't have great compatibility. Like, all of Adobe's apps don't work on Linux. So the thing that I like about Linux is that it basically gives me just another reason to bring new life to this laptop. This laptop is getting a little bit old, but having a lighter weight software that I can experiment with and have a good time using just makes my life so much more interesting, you know? I have a PC that's way stronger, so why would I use this cheap laptop that can barely even run editing software, can barely even run some games, when I could turn this into a lighter weight gaming console itself? Yes, it struggles running some games, but I've seen less of a struggle with Linux than it did with actual Windows, which is really nice. Why should you, the normal person, the average person I'm assuming, switch to Linux? Well, I would not recommend fully switching to Linux. I know I'm talking about crazy things about Linux, but I don't think you should fully switch to Linux. I think you should test it out and see if it's made for you. You could dual boot it on a computer, so like have Windows and Linux and kind of switch between. If you have another older computer, I'd try out Linux there and figure out if it's something that you would like. Another thing is that Linux is not just for an operating system for like you to navigate and use all the time. I use Linux on a homemade NAS or server that I repurposed an old mini PC into. So there are lots of other ways Linux can be really useful and help you out. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.